This is Aztec 101 in the ring, and I want to talk about Mayweather and Khan. Mayweather has recently come out to HustleBoss.com, had an interview with Chris Robinson, and it seems as though he's insinuating that he could, Khan could very well be a potential matchup that he doesn't know. He's not picking his opponent. He's leaving that responsibility to his team, which I think is a bunch of bullshit. A bunch of bullshit. He knows very well who he's going to fight. I think in the end, we might end up hearing that he will fight Amir Khan, and I think people might end up having to get used to that. Lara versus Mayweather is highly possible. There are a lot of people talking about how Amir Khan is ranked number 3 for the WBC, their list, their top contenders list, and but they fail to mention that WBA junior middleweight. Floyd holds the WBA junior middleweight title, and WBA has Lara as the number 1 contender for that belt. So that's another thing to consider. Floyd Mayweather will not. I'm telling you this much right now. He will not give a fuck about your feelings. He doesn't give a fuck. And numbers don't lie. If you end up talking about Khan and Floyd Mayweather right now, whether it's negative or positive, it doesn't matter. You're gonna watch it, and that's all he cares. That's what he cares. Does he care whether you want to see the fight? No, he cares that you're talking about it. He cares that you're telling everybody else about this fight. You may not watch the fight, but you've been talking about it so long about how Mayweather and Khan should not get together, and there's all these articles and all these videos. There are a group of people out there that are going to eventually be interested in it. Personally, I am curious. I am very curious about what would happen in the ring if Khan and Mayweather met. But will I pay for it? Fuck that. No, they're not taking $75 from me for that fight. I'll do it for Canelo. I'll do it for Lara. I'll do it for Porter, because Porter impressed me in his last fight. I'll do it for Keith Thurman when as he's moving up weight. I know that he doesn't deserve it either now. Even though there's people saying that, mentioning his name, he does not deserve it yet. But Adrian Broner, I would pay to see that. As much as I am mad that Adrian Broner has not taken the initiative to call out Floyd, I would pay to see that fight. 100%. I would support both fighters in that fight. I would love to see that matchup. And this is where we're fucked, is that Floyd Mayweather has an option. He's got Amir Khan, and even though Amir Khan does not really have that, great following in Europe like a lot of people think, in the UK, there's not that, there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of great fighters coming from the UK. People need to recognize that. There is competition. But Amir Khan is not really, doesn't really have the same amount of supporters as we would feel that he has. But the difference is, I feel like he might end up he might do better numbers than Lara. He'll do better numbers than those named as potential fights. I don't know if Porter will be a potential fight, but Adrian Broner won't. The only way that matchup will lead to a fight to Floyd will be if Maidana ends up winning. If he ends up winning, he might end up taking the fight with Floyd. But this is our fault as fans. We don't have a fighter that we all want to see fight Floyd. There just isn't one out there. So we haven't hyped up a fighter yet. That's what I said in my last video, my last Floyd Mayweather versus Khan. It's our job to hype up a fighter. But every channel that talks about boxing will mention Floyd and Khan, but not bring up these other names that are better. And the thing is that you can bring up a list of 10 names that are better than Khan, but in the end, you got to focus on one and just ride with that one. Because if you don't, we can't root for 10 contenders. It's got to be one. There's got to be one contender, and that's it. Pacquiao, Pacquiao might happen, but it's not going to happen next. I know that. That's the realistic. I know that Pacquiao's contract with Top Rank ends somewhere around the end of 2014. Don't know exactly what month, but I know it ends. He can very well make a match with Floyd Mayweather somewhere around 2015. So that's something to wait for, and that'll be before Floyd Mayweather's second to last fight. Sorry, but right now Pacquiao's not a real solid match. It's just not, especially business-wise. It's not a real solid match. So we got Amir Khan. I think the fight's going to happen, personally. This is my opinion, and a lot of people feel that this is cherry-picking. I agree. I think it is cherry-picking. But what can you do? This isn't the first time. This isn't the last time. It is what it is. We know how Floyd functions. And a lot of people are acting like they're surprised. Like, I can't understand it. I'm going to be really upset if Floyd picks Khan. Oh my God, that's just going to, I'm not going to buy the fight. No, fuck that. You can just recognize that most likely he will pick Khan. And in the end, a lot of people are talking shit saying that, Khan doesn't stand a chance. Well, to be honest, there's a lot of these fighters that I feel would bring a great competitive edge to Floyd Mayweather, but I don't think they'll win. Broner will make a great fight, but I don't think he'll win. Porter will make a great fight. I don't think he'll win. Pacquiao will make a legendary fight, but I don't think he'll win. That's the difference, is that no one's realistically thinking about who's going to win. So when they go and they say Khan doesn't have a chance, guess what? Neither does Bradley. Guess what? Neither does Garcia. They don't. Garcia stands he's got a puncher's chance. Yeah. These heavy-handed fighters, Lara has a puncher's chance, definitely. So did Canelo. And we all saw what happened. So we got to understand and just be realistic. There's really no... as far as boxing, right now, none of the fighters are really going to be potential winners. But as far as Amir Khan, even though he does not deserve this fight, it's not Amir Khan's fault for getting the fight. It's our fault as American fans for letting the American champion, or allowing the American champion, to make such moves. He is his own Don King. He makes the matchups that make the most money, not the matchups that are good for the sport, not the matchups that might end up putting him in danger. But the last dangerous opponent, I do have to admit, like I said, I give Floyd all the credit in the world for fighting Canelo. Give Floyd all the credit in the world for fighting Canelo. But there were a group of people that felt that Canelo did not deserve that fight. And I remember, before I was making videos, I would leave comments, and I would say, if Canelo does not deserve this fight, then as Mayweather fans, why don't you get on Mayweather's back and force him to pick a more deserving opponent? Why is all the negative energy given to the opponent? And I feel like it's some kind of, there's a struggle. Like, you want to say Floyd's cherry picking, but you don't. And instead of just saying, you know what, Floyd's cherry picking, you break down the opponent. So you say Khan isn't deserving, fuck that, he get knocked out. I'll watch it, it'll be easy money for Floyd. Yeah, it'll be easy money for Floyd. It would, because we're allowing it to happen. We're allowing these matchups to pull through. And we're allowing certain matchups not to happen. As fans, we're fucking up. These are all the signs of us fucking up. The economy in boxing is fucked up. If you took the economy in boxing the way it is now, and the way it's been most of the time, it's a third world sport. What do I mean by that? Third world sport. I mean, out of the thousands of boxers out there, very few, 1% make six figures and over. Very few percent of boxers out of the entire sport can make a viable living when it comes down to actually being able to retire and have enough money to send your kids to college and purchase a house and support your family. It's a very small percentage. And then out of that small percentage, there's only one fighter right now that's making anywhere near what Floyd Mayweather makes, $40 million. The economy is a third world economy in boxing. It's not a level playing field. And we've all allowed that to happen. So I'm not surprised if Khan gets picked. I'm not. It's a business deal. His name is being talked about the most. He gets mentioned more than more deserving opponents. Khan is being talked about more often than not. So let's just call it for what it is. We're being hustled because we're allowing that to happen. That's it. But see, a lot of you go, what do we do? What do we do? How do you make a difference? Well, you got to learn how to speak their language. So for those of you who want to speak their language is watch the fight, but just don't pay for it. Watch the fight, but don't pay for it. Go to a bar. Have the bar pay for it. That's it. That's what you got to do. You got to speak their language. You can't say you don't want to see this fight and then come fight night, you get your homies together and then everybody, you get a party and everybody starts watching this fight. And you go, oh, well, you know what, I got a whole bunch of people and it was just me that paid for it. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of people doing that. Because I'm going to be honest with you. Even though I don't want to pay for it, I'm still kind of curious to know what will happen. That's my take on Floyd versus Khan. Does he deserve it? No. Am I surprised that he'll get picked? No. And for those of you who are surprised that he could possibly be cherry picking, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. That it just doesn't make sense. Why would you be surprised? Alright? That's just it. Shouldn't be surprised. If you, as a man, if you had a woman that was going out every night, every Friday night, and she was dressing, she was dressing all with her little mini skirt like she's single. She goes out with the girls to a bar every Friday night, and you don't say shit. Don't get surprised if some fool ends up giving her a number, buying her a drink, getting her fucked up, and you got some clever motherfuckers that'll trick a girl into some dick. So that's what I'm saying. Don't get surprised. Floyd has been doing. We know how Floyd functions. He functions as far as business, and you guys don't speak his language. His language is money. If you don't want to see the fight, if you don't agree with the fight, don't pay for it. Don't go anywhere that pays for it. So that's all I gotta say. This is Aztec 101 in the ring, and I'm out.